Hi everyone, welcome to SG Careers TV. I'm Soma. I'm going to be talking about how you can change your career and factors that could be holding you back today. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is a lot of people always want to kind of perhaps change their career, or they always discuss the possibility of, oh, I always wanted to, become a designer, but I ended up working in an office. And, when I talk to people like that, I kind of ask them, okay, so why? What happened? And, there are a lot of factors that come up, family and things like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail as I go through this video. But it's something that I see with a lot of the clients I've previously worked with as well. And recently I worked with a client who had a career change, and she had to go back to her 9-to-5 job so that she could finance the career change that she's hoping to do in the future. And it's really, really important that you have the financial backing, and we'll talk about that. But the first thing I want to talk about is if you are somebody, I'll give you a scenario at the moment, who is in their 9-to-5 job. I would ask you to think about, is it something that you enjoy? Do you like what you do? If you are somebody who is in the 9-to-5 situation at the moment and is kind of questioning, whether you have this itch to try something different, or whether, you want to change something, ask yourself why. So the first thing I would ask you to think about if you're considering a career change at the moment is the big why. So why do you feel you need a career change? What are the factors that have got you to this point? Are you uninterested and not motivated by your work anymore? Do you feel you could be doing something more? Do you want something where you aren't just sitting at a desk all day? These factors are might be really, really important to you. And do you feel as though you go into work every day, but you're just not progressing with the amount of work you're doing? Or do you feel that perhaps you've been in the same position for a number of years, and you're hearing about other people in your company getting that promotion that you would have wanted to get, but you've not been asked to apply for it, and it's making you feel as though you're being undervalued? If you're asking yourself these kind of questions, putting them to the back of your head because you need money, obviously, then ask yourself why. Why is that voice in your head talking to you and saying, hang on a second, something's not right here, maybe something needs to change? So, if you are considering a career change, I would really, address the fact that you need to think about doing it for the right reasons, guys. And so if you want to change, how can you make this happen? A few of the factors that I would want to share with you today is if you are really, really unhappy in your work, you're coming home from work tired, angry, upset, not very easy to live with your family, and just, bringing your work home with you, the mood that you have been in at work and then bringing that home with you, then seriously think about perhaps leaving your job. If you feel that perhaps making that decision is going to take the weight off your shoulders, then do it. I would only advise you to do this if you have been realistic about all your options, by the way, in terms of your finances, in terms of what you're going to do next. So if you have financial backing, then do it. And if also, you have support from your family and you have a plan in place to go where to go next, then I would do it. Otherwise, I'd seriously think about it and discuss it with the people who are around you. The reason why I mention this here is because a few years back in 2010, I did exactly that. I had a 9-to-5 job, and I liked the job, but the kind of passion for the job had been quashed a little bit. It wasn't there anymore. I wasn't seeing as many clients, and there were a lot of changes in the career industry that I work in, and this kind of affected me. And one day I just came home in floods of tears, and my mum said to me, "What's wrong?" And I was just like, I can't take it anymore. I feel like I'm trapped. And if you feel like that, then maybe the best thing to do is to leave your job. But the reason why I'm telling you a little bit about my personal story is, if you feel trapped like that, there are other options, guys. So, that's the first thing I would say. Second thing I would say, if you can't afford financially to leave your job, then look for other jobs whilst you're still in that job. And in some cases, if you are, wonderful and you're already brilliant and you've already been in a steady job and you have that positioning in your job where employees come to you for the skills that you have, you will get another job. It will happen for you, but you need to be patient and you need to look for other jobs. And it's easy for me to say this to you guys because you're the ones who are going to be doing it. But the main thing that I'm trying to say to you is that make time for it. Any time that you have outside your work, look on the internet, join recruitment agencies and be diligent about the other jobs that are out there so that if you need another job and you want to change, you make that change, okay? And yeah, that's the next thing I want to talk about. If it's a big change, so it requires you to go back to university, perhaps you want a complete career change where you're going from a career in IT to a career in teaching, you are going to have to, build up some new qualifications there. And, it is possible. I was reading on the internet that a lot of people now, more people are doing, more kind of skills and more degrees and rerouting their career, as I like to call it as well. I found an example, and it's actually on my website, about a man who was a computer scientist and he has recently retrained as a teacher, and he's also helping teachers in that school to learn about technology. So he's used all his varied skills to change, but he's really, really enjoying what he's doing. And I know other people who have done that. They've been in one career for a long time, but then they've realised something's missing and they've retrained. So if that change is really, really scary for you, it is going to be scary, guys. I can't say it won't be scary. It won't be a risk, but that's what life is about. Life is all about that. So if that's too big a leap for you, then, think about it, okay? But really, if you think that is going to be the change that's going to make you happier, I would say, ideally, go for it. Do it. The next thing I would say is, I want you to write down 5 things that you could do so that you can change your career and, get to where you need to be. So, for example, if the first thing is you want to change your position in your current company and you think that perhaps, you want to be a manager and you're just in a kind of junior position. How can you get there? What can you change about that? Discuss it with your managers if it's something like that. Or if it's something about completely refurbishing your career and changing your career and looking at other degree courses and things like that, write it down. I want to change my career by reapplying to university and becoming a fashion designer or something like that. That's a very kind of off the ball example there, guys. But what I'm trying to say to you is that you need to write down 5 things you could do so that you can change your career and what you need to get there. And if 5 things seem like a lot, then don't do 5 things. Do 2 or 3 things, depending on how far you can get, and set yourself a goal. So if you feel that you could change your career just by simply looking at other jobs, for example, that's another goal, but in doing it within the next 2 weeks, you set yourself a realistic goal of when you're going to do it and make sure you do it. And the reason why I'm also talking about career change here is you've got to ask yourself why it's affecting your everyday life. Is it the people that you work with? Is it the environment that you're working in? Has it become too corporate? Has it become too formal? You know, what is it that's really, really affecting you day to day? You need to ask yourself that. And perhaps look at some of the factors that hold you back. And I spoke a little bit about this at the beginning as well. But you know, what are the factors that hold you back? Do you have a lot of family responsibilities? Are you the main breadwinner? You know, do you need to pay for certain things within the family so people rely on you? If this is the case, then if you know, have this career change idea in your head, you could be thinking, oh, but I'm being really, really selfish because my children need me, or my husband needs me, or my such and such needs me. So it could be that might be holding you back. As I said before, change is a scary thing. You know, when I was going through my change, just going back to that for a second, it was scary. And day to day, I would always think, what's going to happen next? But I'm glad I made that leap. I'm glad I made that decision because I was a lot happier at the end of it, guys. So it's potentially up to you if you want to, you know, make that change. This is just my suggestions and my advice to you if you're feeling unhappy. The third reason I would say is financial. You know, everybody has to work to put bread and butter on the table, that old phrase, and, you know, to keep a roof over their head, literally. So if you literally can't leave because you need that money and you need, you know, to pay the bills, and you're worried that the career change is going to be risky, you know, ask yourself why, and is there a way around it, and can I get support? With me, my mentality is, and I want to share this with you guys today, is that if you think you can achieve something, if you have enough strength, enough willpower, enough support, you can do it. So if the finances is something that's keeping you up at night and worrying you if you decide to go for this big career leap change, then think about ways in how you can make it work, okay? The other thing I would say is listening to your gut and not listening to what other people are saying. If you've told a friend about the fact that you want to change your career and you're in your mid-30s and they kind of look at you and they think, oh, God, is this person crazy? They have all these responsibilities, how could they? You know, and they give you this look and they give you this kind of, you know, judgment. Think to yourself what your voice is telling you inside your head, your gut. Think about it for a second. If your gut is saying, yeah, they're saying that, but I'm still not happy. I'm going into work every day and I'm having this pit in my stomach and I'm just not happy with what I'm doing. My passion, my zest has gone. If your gut is telling you that, don't ignore it. Listen to it. Because our gut, our intuition is so important. And, you know, it tells us what we need to know, the most realistic way, right? The other thing I see with career change, and a lot of people who are a little bit scared to potentially go for their career change, is thinking that it's too late. It doesn't matter how old you are, I believe. I think that if you keep on telling yourself it's too late, you're creating your own self-fulfilling prophecy, guys. You need to convince yourself that this isn't true, right? If you really, really want to go for it, go for it. You know, write a pros and cons list if that will help. You know, writing things down and doing lists and looking at it and then reading over it a few days later can give you a sense of clarity and can tell you stuff that you are thinking in your head but you're not putting down on paper or you're not talking about because you're repressing it almost. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please get in touch, and if you have any thoughts, any questions, especially about the 5 things that I have suggested that you might want to do, the exercise, because if you're struggling with this, I'd love to kind of hear from you. Even, you know, if you're not struggling with this, tell me a little bit about what came up and how you feel you could go about this. I'd really like to discuss this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you again all very soon. Thank you.